Alright, 100 days in hardcore Minecraft as an Ender Knight. In this video, I am a human that was born and raised in the End. As such, I can use teleporting abilities just like the Enderman, and I had super strong Ender Knight gear that made me one of the strongest warriors in the End. However, after the Ender Dragon was defeated, the evil Ender Beast took over. Since I was too much of a threat to him, he banished me to the Overworld and his minions stole my gear and locked it away in their domains. My goal was to defeat the Ender Beast's minions, reclaim my gear, and then free the End from the Ender Beast's tyranny. Will I be able to handle it and free the End? Let's find out. Day 1, I found myself in this mountain biome, and after looking around, I noticed a weird structure. I walked up and I saw a sign that said Ender Knight's Assistant. Kinda odd, but let's see what's up. I opened the door and I went in, and there was this really weird villager.
Yo, you're the Ender Knight that got banished, right? Looks like all your gear's been stolen by the Ender Beast subordinates. Ha, nerd. I happen to know how you can get to their domains, but you'll want to get properly equipped before trying to take them on. If I were you, I would spend some time getting armor and weapons and getting a home base established. Come back to me once you're prepared to take on one of the Ender Beast subordinates, and I can help you out. Oh, and also, the Endermen of this world won't recognize you, so be prepared to defend yourself if you come across one. Good luck, nerd.
Okay, so this guy can help me get my gear back. Nice. After leaving that structure that I definitely didn't build myself before starting the video, I teleported over to a tree, got some wood, and I made my wooden pickaxe. I then mined some stone, made a stone pickaxe and axe, and then I went to hunt some sheep for wool for a bed. I killed 2 sheep, and then I realized that I was running out of hunger, so I quickly made a furnace and I cooked some food. I then teleported over to some cows, took them out, and now I would have enough food to last me for a little bit. I spent the rest of day 1 teleporting around hunting animals for food and other resources. The next morning, I cooked the food that I hunted, and after that I decided that I wanted to mine. Based on that guy's advice, I'd want to get weapons, armor, and a home base, so that's my plan. I was looking for a cave when I stepped into some water and started taking a bunch of damage. Yeah, I kinda forgot about that, but I can't touch water because of the whole Ender thing, which is gonna be fun. I found a cave a bit later and I started mining a bunch of iron. I didn't encounter a single hostile mob somehow, and I managed to get up to 34 iron, and then I went to smelt it. By the end of day 2, I had a full set of iron armor and iron tools. The next day, I wanted a backpack to avoid inventory issues, so I started teleporting around looking for sheep to shear, and I was not having good luck. I ended up finding an entire village before I found a single sheep, and this village gave some emeralds, but that was it. Then, in this mountain biome, I found a nature ore. Only one, but it could be used to make a nature ingot, which could be used to make a full set of gear if I got enough of them. This was actually a custom mod that I commissioned, and I was pretty excited to see that it was working. I ran around that biome, and I ended up finding a few more pieces of nature ore, but still not a single sheep. At this rate, I wouldn't get my backpack at all, let alone soon. The teleporting around was letting me travel super fast as well, so in theory, I should have seen a sheep by now, but no luck. I then accidentally jumped in the water once again, forgetting that I cannot in fact do that. And then in a plains biome, I actually found sheep. They didn't give me enough wool, but it was a good start. But then I started walking away, and then I turned around to see that they had all regrown their wool immediately. So I turned around and sheared them again. The only thing that I needed now for a backpack was string, and luckily it was turning night. I waited around, killed a spider for string, and I slept. The next morning I made a small backpack, and then I upgraded it all the way to a large one. I then dyed it purple because that's my favorite color, and also, you know, the whole Ender thing kind of fits the theme, and also just why not? And now I had a ton of storage space for my stuff. I kind of wanted to get my house set up as soon as possible, and I wanted purple blocks for it, so I spent day 4 teleporting around gathering these purple flowers for dye. I also got some more nature ore and coal and stuff like that, and then I kind of almost lost a fight to a random boar, but we don't talk about that. After getting a lot of flowers, I decided that I wanted to use this limestone stuff that I saw all over the mountain for my base. It was kind of as close to endstone as I could get, so it would have to do. The next day, I spent the entire time mining tons of limestone. I wasn't sure how much I would need, so I wanted to grab as much as I could just in case. Day 6, I had a ton of limestone, and I wanted to find a place to build. I didn't have all of my materials yet, but I wanted to have a location in mind for whenever I did. I figured that it would be smart to set up base next to where I spawned, so I began heading back that way. I found a ruined portal along the way, and I ended up getting a golden apple and some golden carrots, and then I continued traveling. Using my teleport ability, it did not take long until I was back to where I spawned. I checked the local area, area and I found a relatively flat spot on a hillside. This was definitely where I wanted to build. And now that I knew that, I needed wood, so I went to gather a bunch. After gathering wood, I went caving for a bit for more iron for the rest of day 6. Then the next day, it was time to build my house. I stained a bunch of planks purple, I chiseled my limestone into bricks, and then I began working on my house. And by day 11, my build was complete. And if you can't tell, it's based on an end city, but because I don't have access to any of the end materials, I had to make do with what I had. And I think that it turned out pretty well, honestly. All of that building made me use all of my food, so I spent day 12 teleporting around hunting animals to get more. And while I'm hunting animals, it's a great time to tell y'all to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and also maybe follow my Twitch. I love streaming, and honestly, it'd be pretty cool if you went there and followed me and watched my streams and all that, and yeah. Anyways, by that night, I had quite a bit of cooked food, which would hopefully last me for a while. The next morning, I walk outside and I see an enderman. I knew it wouldn't be friendly towards me, so I was preparing to kill it for an ender pearl when a creeper blows up my front yard. I just finished this house and it's already getting destroyed. Not very cool. I killed that enderman, got a pearl, and then I repaired my house. I then killed a few more animals for food, and now I wanted to mine. I had my home base, and I still needed to get better weapons and armor, so I had to work on that. I mined for a few days, and I ain't gonna bore you with all of the details, but I was not getting very lucky. I made a diamond pickaxe, and I nearly broke the entire thing, and I barely had any diamonds. Then at the end of my trip, I found this giant lava cavern, which was super dark, and there were mobs everywhere. I ended up getting a few diamonds here, but I had to leave some behind because there was just way too many mobs and it was way too risky to mine there. I go up to the surface and of course it was raining, so I can't travel home because the rain damages me because I have like ender something or other, I don't really know. Luckily it was nighttime so I could sleep and make the rain go away, or I would have been in a lot of danger. Day 16, I arrived back home and I stored my stuff. My haul was kinda pitiful. I didn't get nearly as much as I had hoped from mining, but hopefully it would be enough. I had these rubies which could make very good armor. It made a really strong sword too, but it was a bit slower, but honestly the damage was very worth it. I ended up making a replacement diamond pick, a ruby chestplate and leggings, a ruby sword, and a diamond helmet. No good boots right now, but iron would be fine. I then made a nature sword, which whenever I right click it, it would give me a regeneration 5 buff for a few seconds at the cost of a lot of durability. This would be amazing for healing up, so I made a few of them. Day 17, I wanted to see if I can get some more diamonds and stuff from dungeons. Mining took a long time for not much reward, so I figured that a dungeon might be better. I also kind of wanted gold for golden apples and maybe some potion brewing stuff if I could find it. I saw this one tower dungeon, but I felt that I was a little too weak to handle it right now, and I didn't really want to die, so I would save that for later. Then shortly after, I saw an ice castle dungeon. This castle had an aura around it that gave mining fatigue and slowness, which was not fun, but I thought that I could maybe handle it. I then spent a bit of time stealing these soul lanterns from the castle because they looked kind of cool and I kind of wanted them. After stealing those, it was nighttime, so I slept. Then the next day, I went into the depths of the castle. I get down there and I see these two ice mage illagers and immediately take a ton of damage and nearly die. My nature sword literally saved me with the regen boost, and I left that place as fast as I could. No chance was I going to be able to beat those illagers in my current state. A bit later, I found another tower, but this one only seemed to have 2 floors, meaning that it should be way easier than the first one that I saw. I went up and saw a few illagers spawn, and after taking those out and breaking some spawners, I went inside. I took out a few of the illagers that had wooden swords, as well as these drumming ones that seemed to buff the others, and then I went up to the second floor, and it was literally empty. Then the third floor was super dark, and there were mobs everywhere. I used the nature sword to regen my health, and I started fighting all the mobs, and after a bit, I broke into the stone brick wall and began destroying the spawners. I then looted the chests, and I got some golden apples, emeralds, a crossbow, and some diamonds. Then I began mining the wall of ores. After getting all the diamonds, which is all that I really cared about, I went up to the next floor where the Illager King immediately does a ton of damage. I healed with my nature sword, and I prepared for a really hard fight, and then I saw that he couldn't fit down the stairs, so I took him out pretty easily. I looted the chest that he was guarding, and I got a ton of good stuff. 2 god apples, a bunch of bows and crossbows with really good enchantments, and then I mined all the ore blocks around the room, and I got tons of coal, gold, and some more diamonds. This place was very worth it. Then the next day I felt pretty good about what I had gotten and I decided to head back home. I spent most of that day traveling, and then once I got home I began cooking a bunch of food that I gathered. Day 20 I made some diamond boots, and then I decided that I would carry around this infinity bow that I got from the tower so I would have a ranged attack option. I then finished cooking my food and made a bucket, and then I went to gather some obsidian. After getting 4, I teleported around to get some sugarcane, and then I went back home and I made an enchantment table. And then I put some enchantments on my gear. I got sharpness 1 on my sword, and my armor had full protection 1 and protection 2. I felt pretty good about my gear, so I decided that I would talk to the guy in the mountain to see what I had to do next.
It seems as if you are fully prepared. Good. The weakest of the Ender Beast subordinates resides in a domain of water, and you'll need the water key to get there. The water key requires prismarine crystals in the heart of the sea. As you might have learned by now, your Ender DNA makes it so you cannot touch water, but I know of a way around that. If you craft a turtle shell helmet and combine it with 2 Ender pearls, you will create a helmet that allows even Endermen to go into the ocean. Don't think that will protect you against the ruler of the water domain, though, as his attacks will hurt, turtle shell or not. I've told you all that I know regarding your next mission. Good luck and return to me once you've reclaimed some of your stolen gear, loser.
Yo, so these 100 days videos are a lot of work, you know, and you might be wondering how I can get so much work done so often. Well, that is with the help of G Fuel. G Fuel is a much healthier energy drink that contains 0 sugar and has a ton of amazing flavors for you to choose from. There is absolutely a flavor for everyone. Now, having caffeine in a drink is not for everybody, so they have another line called Hydration that has no caffeine. It's packed with vitamins, antioxidants, electrolytes, and it has some of the same incredible flavors. If I had to pick a favorite flavor, it's definitely gotta be Shiny Splash, but Hype Sauce and Radioactive Lemonade are great options too. Because I am partnered with G Fuel, you can get 30% off your order from when this video goes live until April 25th with code SPECIAL. So yeah, check it out at the link in the description, and if you pick some up with my code, let me know on Twitter or in the comments or something like that. Anyways, enjoy the video. Okay, so I am not nearly as close to fighting the first boss as I expected. I now had to go find turtles to get the turtle shell, as well as defeat Endermen for Ender Pearls. I grabbed the 1 Ender Pearl that I already had, and now I had to go find a beach biome with turtles. Then I found a beach, and I used my boat to grab as much kelp as I could. Towards the end of that day, I found some turtles, however, actually breeding them would be tricky. The next day, I very riskily jumped into the ocean to try and feed these turtles some kelp, only to then look it up and realized that I needed seagrass, which is great. I went to find a cave and I mined some iron, and then I headed back to where I found those turtles. I smelted the iron and made some shears, and I risked my entire life to get some seagrass. Then with seagrass, I got 1 turtle to follow me, but the other one that I saw before was nowhere in sight. I looked around the water for a bit and saw no sign of the other turtle, so I assumed that it somehow died or despawned or just disappeared. I have no idea. Either way, I now had to go find another beach with turtles. Then the next day, I found some turtles on land. I immediately bred them, and then they laid a few turtle eggs. And then I learned that there's absolutely nothing stopping me from just breeding them over and over, so that's exactly what I did until there were enough eggs to get me my turtle shell whenever they hatch. These apparently took a few days to hatch, so I built a defensive fence around them so no mobs could come over to destroy them. The wiki said that they hatch faster at night, so I wanted to just wait around here for a little bit and maybe farm my ender pearls for the time being. And I also couldn't really leave the area or the eggs would unload and then they wouldn't hatch, so there's really not much else I could do. I spent the next few days and nights just chilling around waiting for the eggs to hatch. And I ended up building this neat little beach hut out of some palm wood. I don't really know why I did it, but it helped pass the time, so why not? And after that was built, I kinda just sat around waiting. I would have gone mining or something, but the risk of unloading the eggs and having them not hatch wasn't really something that I wanted to deal with. Though, on one of the nights, I definitely had to leave that area. I saw a mutant zombie start to come after me, and after teleporting away from that, a mutant skeleton shows up and starts shooting me with arrows. Luckily, I can teleport very far distances, letting me get away. I teleported back, and those 2 had seemingly despawned, so I was safe now. Day 31, I teleported my way back home, and once I got there, I enchanted the Ender Shell helmet with protection 1. Now, because of all that waiting for eggs, I was now almost completely out of food, so I had to go hunting for more. I hunted for the rest of that day, and then I headed home. The next day, I spent cooking that food that I hunted, and then I went off to try and find the heart of the sea in the prismarine crystals. I went that whole whole day without finding an ocean, but at the end of the day, I did take down this illager archer tower. The loot wasn't worth it at all, but I figured that it was worth trying. Day 33, I found an ocean pretty quickly. I tested my shell helmet and it gave me water breathing and I could go in the water without taking damage. This was amazing because now I can get the materials that I needed. I immediately found a sunken ship and in it, a treasure map. I followed the map, looted the chest, and inside I got my Heart of the Sea and 2 of the prismarine crystals that I needed. I needed 4 crystals in total, so I was halfway there. I went back to exploring the ocean and quickly spotted this little structure that had sea lanterns. I swam over to it and it was this weird civilization of fish people, and I broke one of their lamps, got the last of the crystals that I needed, and now I was good to go. And then I spent the rest of day 33 heading home. The next morning, I used my Heart of the Sea and my prismarine crystals to craft the water key. This would let me get to the water elemental domain. If I could defeat him, I'd be able to get some of my gear back. After cooking some food, I readied my hotbar and I prepared myself for the fight. Okay, if I use this key, it should begin the first boss fight. I'm all ready to go and let's get it. Okay, we're here and there he is. Hello, gamer. All right, it's kind of dark in here, which is tough, and that hurts a lot and I can't reach you. That's even more tough. Sup? Okay, can I hit you? Okay, 1. Okay, I do a lot of damage, but so does he. And he has more attack range than me, which is sick. I want to try and not have to use my nature sword because it gives a lot of regen, but I don't want to waste it. I guess I can get more though. But still, I want to try and beat him without using it. That's the goal. What is this? Where are you going? Buddy? Okay. There's you know what? You know what? I've changed my mind. Hello, spiders. And wolf. And spider. And skeleton. My armor breaking? No. Die. Oh, you came back down? Your friends are still here. Alright, that was that. Back up. Okay. Yo, this guy's no joke. Hit him again. Half HP. Hit him again. Run away. Heal. Yo, he does so much damage. Hit him again. The knockback is also kind of crazy, and then he has projectiles too. I need to not get pinned in a corner or I'll just die guaranteed. Okay, I should have made more golden apples as well, but I think I'll be okay. Hit him again. You gonna summon more friends, or are you done with that? Oh, yes, you are gonna summon more friends. And I'm dying. And nature sword. Okay. Nature sword for life. Alright, skeleton down. Oh, spider down, skeleton down. Blaze? Or water? Blaze? What's like a water version of a blaze called? Like a... What's it gonna be called? Like a... Vapor? Did I place a torch in here? Let's go. Oh, we won! Let's go! Okay, he had like 1 hit left. I didn't even realize that. He drops a golden apple. Let's go, to replace the ones that I consumed fighting him. I get my Ender Knight helmet, my Ender Knight boots, and an Overworld key. Let's get it. All right. And my helmet is almost... My armor got destroyed during that. Okay. We did it. Let's go. After defeating the water elemental and reclaiming my helmet and boots, I went back to the villager to see what he had to say.
Wow, you actually managed to survive and reclaim your helmet and boots. Congratulations, but you're nowhere near ready for the Ender Beast yet. Your helmet and boots will make water travel far easier for you, and you no longer take fall damage, but you'll want the rest of your old equipment before trying to free the End from the Ender Beast's rule. With the water elemental defeated, your next goal should be to defeat the Lord of the Fire Domain. They're a master of range spells, and as you can expect, you'll want some protection from fire before taking them on. They're a lot stronger than their water counterparts, so come back to me once you've gotten better gear, and I'll tell you how to enter the Fire Domain. Trash.
So yeah, the fire domain was my next goal, meaning I had to get fire resistance and better enchantments and all of that. And I would also want to get more golden apples because that water elemental did tons of damage. Day 35, I needed to work on enchantments. I wanted to get better armor, a better weapon, all that fun stuff, so I wanted to go find bookshelves and also dungeons for experience. Being able to teleport around and be immune to fall damage was a fantastic buff because I didn't nearly kill myself every single time that I teleported into a tree. So this armor was a huge improvement. I spent days of 36 to 42 just traveling. That probably sounds fake, and I know there are definitely some people out there that do fake it, but no, this is literally 7 days of just this. Teleporting and traveling as fast as I could in one direction to find more villages or dungeons or literally anything. And I'm gonna be honest, I was Not seeing much. I barely found any villages or dungeons despite traveling at insane speeds with teleportation. And the ones I was finding had like apples and broken hose, and that's about it. I did find some decent dungeons though, like this illager one that had a golem inside that couldn't fit through the door. That one had an obsidian case inside filled with chests with good loot. But the worst thing is that I was not finding any bookshelves. And I know what you're thinking, couldn't you just make bookshelves? Yes, but I was really stubborn and I wanted to find them, and I kept telling myself that I was gonna find them soon if I just kept going. I was wrong. Being able to travel in the ocean so freely was nice though. I was really fast and I could breathe underwater and stuff. It was pretty cool. I did find some villages occasionally, but it's crazy because none of them knew how to read. Not a single book in the entire village. Literal scam. What makes this even crazier is that before I started traveling, I added another structure mod, and I hadn't seen a single one of those either. By the time that I finally found some bookshelves, it was in a zombie desert village. Of all the structures, a village with a bunch of zombies has books. A while later, I found this super cool house with a bunch of anvils, and in there I got some more bookshelves. Not enough books yet, but getting there. At one point in the desert, I found this pillager outpost with a bunch of iron golems, and I let all of those boys out. I didn't gain anything from that, but it was fun. Then a bit after that, I found another village with a librarian with the last of the books that I needed. It was time. I finally had enough books for level 30 enchantments. Right next to that village was a desert temple with an entire god apple inside. And now to return home. Now, you see, the funny thing here is that I had a mod installed called Waystones, which lets you teleport, and you can teleport to different waystones that you've unlocked. I didn't realize I had that installed. I didn't mean to install it. So instead of using a waystone like a smart gamer would have, I manually walked 15,000 blocks home. It was with my teleport ability, but still, that was really slow. I arrived back home on day 43 and I immediately set up the bookshelves for enchanting. I checked the few items that I had to enchant right now, and I decided to put protection 3 on my Ender Knight boots. The next day, I figured that it was about time to go to the Nether. To prepare for the next boss, I had to get fire resistance, meaning I had to find a Nether fortress. I went over to a nearby lava pit and I mined a bunch of obsidian. I then built a nether portal in the side of the hill and I lit it. I was gonna go in, but then decided that I wanted to get more obsidian so I could build a portal for getting home, so I did that. Then I went to the nether. The nether was dark and spooky, and I immediately found some flame ore. This could be used for an armor and weapon set, just like the nature ore and the ruby ore, but because I had the Ender Knight gear now, I didn't really need that, so not gonna use it. I looked around and I saw a few dungeons, but I really didn't want to mess with those because my only goal here was to get stuff for potions. I traveled around for a bit and then a wild series of events happened. I teleported, I got jumped by a ghast. After returning its fireball, I walked a bit further and found a nether fortress. But then as I walk up to the fortress, I kill a wither skeleton and boom, a wither skull immediately. My luck's kinda crazy. However, the fortress was not so lucky. I ran around and I killed blazes and stuff for a bit, but there didn't seem to be any interior to the fortress, meaning there was no nether wart. And I needed that, so that was very unfortunate. I then just ran through the nether trying to find another fortress. It wasn't that dangerous, but it was very dark and very hard to see. Then at the end of day 45, I found another nether fortress and I went in and I immediately got my nether wart. I also had enough blaze rods and stuff to make potions, so I portaled back to the overworld. I ended up in a badlands biome next to a village, so I teleported to a safe spot and I slept. The next morning, I checked F3 and saw that I was 13,000 blocks away from my house. Nice. I was traveling home for the next few days, finally arriving on night 48. The next morning, I got to brewing potions. I brewed potions of fire resistance, and healing. I wanted night vision potions too, but I had no carrots, so I had to get some later. Then I went upstairs and I used the grindstone to remove sharpness 1 from my sword. I wanted to re-enchant it, but looting 3 didn't seem to be super useful to me compared to like sharpness, so I didn't do that. I then enchanted a diamond chestplate, a diamond pickaxe, a book, and diamond leggings. I didn't get the best enchantments, but they would do. Now I wanted more experience for better enchantments and some golden carrots for night vision. The next day I set out to find villages and dungeons again. Last time that took ages, and maybe this time that would be different. And yes, it actually was different. Later on day 50, I found a village, and after searching for way longer than I should have, I finally found the farm and took some carrots. Now that I had those, it was now time to find dungeons for experience. Later that day, I took on an archer tower, which forced me to use my nature sword to heal up and gave like no EXP, so I would probably avoid those. I traveled the next few days, taking on any manageable dungeons that I could find. At first, all that I could find were these massive illager forts, and I knew from my past videos that these were one of the most difficult structures to take down of all time, so I was not going to try it. And one day I saw this golden bunny. I've never seen a golden mob in my entire life, so I have no idea what mod it was from or how rare it was, but I immediately made a mob capture device to try and capture it because I wanted to make it my pet. And then it jumps down a hill and it dies to fall damage. I've literally never been more disappointed in my entire life. After that tragedy, I just kept traveling. I found this cool abandoned house that had these cool banners and stuff. That was nice. What was not nice was the lack of dungeons. Specifically, I wanted a tower dungeon because they gave good experience and also gave enchanted bows and god apples and stuff. And eventually I did find a tower and it was huge. Because it was so big, it seemed like everything about it was harder, so I just cheesed it and teleported to the top and I shot the king to death from a distance. I then looted the room and got tons of insane stuff, and then I went down a few floors and got a bunch of EXP, god apples, stuff like that. I didn't do the whole tower because it was very dangerous, but I got enough stuff that I didn't mind missing out on a few floors. After that tower, I added even more structure mods to the game. This world was for some reason very barren despite me having plenty of structure mods, so the only solution is to add even more. I actually ended up finding another massive tower pretty quickly, and after clearing the bottom floor, I went up and I immediately got chased away by an evoker and their vexes. Vexes do way too much damage, so I wanted to play it safe. I ran off and slept to avoid night mobs causing problems, and then I went back in. The room that I fled from was just full of vexes and zombies summoned by this evoker and necromancer. I ended up just swinging into the room of pure chaos, having to eat golden apples, use my nature sword, and eventually I even had to eat a god apple just to stay alive and clear them all. After clearing those, I checked the floor above, which was just archers, so I wasn't really worried. I broke into the stone pillar and broke the spawners, and then I finally looted the room. These rooms, first of all, had full enchantment tables, so I enchanted my helmet with protection 4, and I got a sharpness 4 book as well. I wanted to save that book for whenever I got my Ender Knight sword back, meaning I still had to enchant my ruby sword. Oh, and I also got a bunch of totems of undying from this place, which would be very important. The rest of that tower was pretty much empty, and I went all the way up to the king's room, took him out, and looted the room. And I got a power 5 bow, which was amazing because the next boss was said to have a lot of range, meaning I would definitely want a strong bow before taking him on. I went back and I enchanted my sword with Sage's Blessing 5. Sage's Blessing would increase the EXP that I got from killing mobs, which in the long run would actually help a lot. Then I placed down an anvil and I combined my Infinity and my power 5 bows. Now I just needed to get a strong sword and better leggings and I would be ready for the next boss. I could use the sharpness 4 book, but I would much rather save it. The next day, I was finally seeing structures. I found this illager fort thingy that kinda almost killed me because Vindicators are OP, but luckily I could teleport or I would have been dead. Then later, I found a flying village. I explored the flying village for a bit and it was cool and all that, but honestly, it was just a village, which wouldn't really give anything crazy. Then that night, I found a witch house. It said keep clear, so I went inside and there were tons of potion ingredients and one of them even had an Unbreaking 3 bow in it. Insanely good loot, very worth. Down a ladder, there were a ton of witches with a witch spawner, and believe it or not, a bunch of witches at once is very dangerous. The Harmon potions did a lot of damage and I was poisoned and I had to keep eating golden apples and use my nature sword, but luckily I managed to clear the room. And that room's loot was not even close to worthwhile, so that was great. For the next few days, I just traveled, taking on random illager bases here and there to get as much EXP as possible. I didn't even care about loot at this point, just killing mobs and breaking spawners for levels were all I really wanted. Some of these structures were pretty cool, like this giant quarry mine thing. However, not all of them had spawners, which made me get way less EXP. Occasionally, I would just use the books that I got from the last tower to make bookshelves and check my enchantments, and I actually ended up getting a protection 3 book, which could be useful later. Tower dungeons were just insane. The EXP gained from them was easily the highest of all the dungeons, and they sometimes had god apples or good enchanted gear, and of course they were dangerous, but I could handle it. The second time that I did enchantments, I ended up getting protection 3 leggings, so now I just needed a sword. And on day 61, I decided that I needed to mine. I wanted to get a ruby sword for enchantments, but I didn't really want to remove the Sage's Blessing enchantment from my current one, so I had to go get more rubies. I mined until I eventually found 3 rubies, and I doubt I would ever need any more, so this was good enough. The next day, I wanted to find a grindstone because it occurred to me that I should be checking my ruby armor's enchantments because it was, stronger than diamond and it wasn't entirely broken yet, and I spent the whole day looking for a sky village. I finally found one, and there was not a single grindstone in sight. Nice. Day 63, I decided that the ruby armor dream just was not gonna happen. I checked my sword and I saw range 4. I figured worst case scenario, it gets a bad enchantment and I could just grindstone it. So I enchanted it and I got range 4 and looting 3. And that is when I decided, screw it, I will just use the sharpness 4 book from before because I could now make a really good sword. I now had a 30,000 block journey back home. Fun. And for the next few days, I was just traveling home. I didn't sleep during the nighttime because it was already this late into the challenge and I still had 2 bosses, so I really didn't have the most time to waste. I also learned while doing this that hunting mobs at night is just really good for experience. I don't know why I never did that before, but honestly, it would have been a lot faster than having to find dungeons because I got so unlucky with the world generation. Also, looking back at this footage, I definitely had enough obsidian to go to the nether and travel home faster, but I didn't think about that, so I didn't do it. It would have been a pain because I hate the nether anyways, but it would have been faster. I finally arrived home on the morning of day 66. I instantly went upstairs and enchanted and I got protection 4 on the ruby leggings. I tried the chestplate too, but it only got a curse, so I would just use the protection 3 book on that later. I wanted to save the ruby armor's durability until right before I fought the boss so it wouldn't break. Then I added sharpness 4 and fire aspect 2 to my ruby sword, and now it was very good. I went ahead and combined it with the Sage's Blessing enchantment too, just for the extra experience. After that, I finally brewed night vision potions. I spent the whole day brewing and then I made a backpack to store my potions in. Day 67, I desperately needed food. I used like 90% of my food while hunting dungeons, and now that I had looting and fire aspect, I should be able to get it pretty easily. It took me a while to find animals because I kinda already hunted all the nearby ones, but when I did, I got so much food so easily. After getting enough to last me for a while, I went back home. Then that evening, I felt like I was good enough for the next boss, so I went to talk to the villager.
You've done well to get stronger, but even as you are now, this fight will not be easy. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you have much of a choice. To make the fire key, you will need a netherite scrap as well as some nether quartz. This will allow you to access the domain of the fire elemental, which is guarding the rest of your equipment. Be sure you are prepared, and good luck, Dork.
Oh boy, netherite. Luckily, I already have the nether quartz, but now I needed netherite as well. No time to waste. The next morning, I went to the nether. I went to a spot that looked like there wouldn't be lava under it, mined down to Y15, and I got the strip mining. I mined for the entire day, but by the end, I finally found one piece of ancient debris. That was all I needed, so I built the portal and I went back home. The next day, I spent traveling home, and then once I got there, I made the fire key. I then put protection 3 on my ruby chestplate, so now hopefully I would be strong enough to win. I had good gear, got apples, and worst case scenario, I had multiple totems of undying, so I should be fine. Okay, well, I think I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I have my totems of undying, I have my potions, I have my apples and stuff like that, so let's do it. Let's try and get our stuff back. All right, we're here. It's dark. Drink. 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 Okay, got apples. Cool. Okay, we're good. Where's he at? Hey, buddy. Shoot fire. Okay, okay, chill. Luckily, I'm immune to fire, so you can't do that much to me. Bro, I cannot get close. We're gonna go for the bow. What's the smoke doing? Is there a shield? You block my arrow. No, you explode. Okay, got it. I can't see, and I'm slow. What was that? That was a fake one. You can see that it died right there. There's another one. Are you fake? Or no, you're the real one. Are you the fake one? You're the fake one. Okay. So the fake ones, I think, still shoot stuff. It seemed like it was still shooting stuff at me. So I have to deal with those, like, immediately. Okay, so you have friends just like the water elemental did, but, yours are less cute, to be honest. And your explosions are loud, and you keep putting me in a corner. My boat is damaged, though. Look at his HP could go down, bro. He's just dying. The boat is crazy. Alright, I'm gonna need you to not explode at all whenever you drop your items, okay? Because if you blow them up, I'm not gonna get them. I need the items. Let's eat a normal golden apple to get the absorption back. That is an enchanted one. Don't waste that. Even though I have 9 of them. He's almost dead. I don't want to shoot. So that smoke that appears means he's going to do an explosion, right? That's what it looks like. I don't want to shoot right after the smoke. So there's the smoke for the explosion. So it'll explode now. I shoot. We're good. We won. And the items drop. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, he dropped a god apple too? I could have used one. It would have replaced it. Okay. And we got our leggings. We got our chest plate. We got our Ender Knight sword. And we got our full set of gear. Yeah, we get strength and speed boost. We're chilling now. Let's grab the Overworld key. and go back home. The fire elemental was defeated. I tested out my Ender Knight gear. I could now give myself levitation at will, and if I got attacked, Enderman allies could appear to defend me, and also, using my sword, I could use Ender Dragon's Roar, which obliterated anything in front of me. I was now incredibly powerful, minus the enchantments, that is. The next morning, I headed back to the villager to see what he had to say.
Look at you, a true Ender Knight. You've regained all of your power and you are almost ready to take on the Ender Beast. To make the key to the Ender Beast's domain, you will need to defeat the Wither and return to the end. With the power that you now possess, the Ender Beast would not challenge you directly as he knows that it's a losing battle. That means you can go safely to the end to collect the needed materials. Once you have obtained a Nether Star from the Wither, combine it with 4 End Stone to create the End Key, which will take you to the Ender Beast's domain. As this is the last time that we will probably speak, I will give you a word of advice. The Ender Beast's ability to curse opponents is what gives him so much power. If he curses you, you will die guaranteed after 30 seconds. There are 2 ways to counteract this curse though. The first is milk. If you drink milk, it will clear the curse from you, but be warned, it will also clear any beneficial potions that you may have. The second way is to eat one of the Ender Beast's own scales. As you fight it, you may chip off some scales, and if you consume one of those, it will clear any curse effect that you currently have. Good luck and don't die.
Okay, that was a lot of information. I now knew how to get to the Ender Beast's domain and how to survive the fight. Then I was in my house looking at my items and I saw a stone golem outside. I went over to it and using my Ender Knight sword, I absolutely demolished this thing. I then saw this group of pillagers near my base. One of them had a banner and I decided, you know, a raid could be fun. I took out the group and then with bad omen, I went over to a nearby village. And then I think the raid glitched or something, or I just couldn't find the mobs. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find any other illagers and the bar was just kind of stuck halfway. Also, I did learn while I was doing that touching a sweetberry bush would cause me to make a lot of Enderman friends real quick, which was fun, but could get kind of overwhelming. The next day, I decided to start exploring. I had plenty of time to kill before day 100 and I needed enchantments and stuff, so I set out to see if I could find some fun dungeons. I also just really wanted to use the Ender Sword because it was way too fun. I ended up actually doing a raid on this adventure, and let me tell you, raids are kind of crazy. There were a bunch of weird illagers, including kings, necromancers, ones in diamond armor, all sorts of stuff. I would call the raid easy, but that would be a lie. It went on for multiple days, and I used all of my normal golden apples to survive. I even considered giving up at one point because I saw a huge cluster of diamond armored evokers and stuff in the ocean. I sniped them from a distance, took them out, and then I cleared the last few pillagers in the village, and luckily that was the last wave. Raids are no joke in this mod pack. That was very difficult. The next day I realized that I was level 34, so I placed down an enchantment setup and enchanted my sword with sharpness 4. I didn't get anything else good, but I did see that whenever I got level 30 again, I could get protection 4 on my leggings. Then I continued traveling. I wanted to get more EXP for enchantments, and I also really wanted to replace all the golden apples that I used during the raid because I was now out of them. And it seemed like my bad structure luck was back as well because I teleported around into new chunks for a long time and was not finding much at all. Of course, this time I was having no trouble finding villages, but those were not what I needed. A few days later, I took down this pillager tower in a desert. After dealing with that, I had enough levels to enchant again, so I put protection 4 on my leggings. Now I just needed a good chest plate and I was ready to deal with the Ender Beast. And then like immediately after that, I started a raid by wandering into a village. Yeah, the last one was not very safe for me, so sorry villagers, but no. I kept traveling and all that I wanted was a tower dungeon. They always gave tons of EXP, golden apples, everything, so it was exactly what I needed, and I was just not having luck at all. I was finding almost every other kind of structure, which is the worst part. That is, until day 80. I finally found a tower, but it only had 2 floors. After clearing the first set of mobs, I checked F3 and just look at this. Nearly 34,000 blocks out on day 80 for a 2-floor tower. Literally scammed. And then the worst thing, this tower with 2 floors has turtle scoots. I literally could have just not bred turtles and done one of these instead, and it would have been way faster. However, it did give me blaze rods so I can make Eyes of Ender without going to the nether, so that was nice. However, it did not give me many golden apples. At this point though, I don't even care. I just wanted to enchant my chest plate and I would be good. So I placed down my enchantment stuff, and on my chest plate I was able to get protection 4. I then cycled through a ton of books on the off chance that I could maybe get sharpness 5 on my sword, but no luck. Now that I felt decent about my gear, it was time to head back home. And nope, I still was not processing the fact that I had waystones installed, and that is unfortunate. And then on the way back, I saw a massive tower. Literally the tallest tower that I've ever seen, like 100 blocks to the left of where I was traveling. I didn't even bother taking it on because I didn't really need anything from it anymore. When I was nearly home, I saw a golden chicken. It was near the stone golem, so after taking that out, I grabbed the golden chicken. This was gonna be my new friend. I arrived home late on day 86, and using a name tag, I named my new chicken Cookie. Cookie the golden chicken. Now I needed wither skulls for that nether star. I had 1 skull and 8 fragments right now, and 9 fragments could make a skull, so honestly, I was super close to fighting the wither. I went to the nether, and my levitating ability made it super easy to travel around this place. I was floating around looking for a fortress for a while, and then I realized that I didn't even need a fortress. I just killed a bunch of wither skeletons around the Soul Sand Valley, and by the end of the day, I had enough fragments for my remaining skulls. I then realized that I forgot to bring obsidian, so I had to manually mine a bunch from these spikes, and then after getting enough, I built a portal and I went to the overworld. I was in a cave, so I mined up to the surface, and then I slept. Now I was like 7,500 blocks away from my house, so I had to spend all of days 88 and 89 traveling. Luckily, I'm used to that by now. Along the way, I did find a mushroom island, which is super cool, and I grabbed a mushroom as a pet to take home. I got home late on day 89, and I used a name tag to name my mushroom Hash Brown. So now I had Cookie the chicken and Hash Brown the mushroom. Very cool pets. Love those guys. After that, I grabbed my soul sand and I made my wither skulls, and now I was ready for the wither. The next day, I went off into an area away from my house. I took out the nearby hostile mobs that might become a problem, and then I drank a potion of resistance, and then I began the fight. The first phase, I was able to deal quite a bit of damage with my bow, and I was able to swap to my sword and use Ender Dragon's Roar for a huge hit. I got through the entire first phase without even getting the wither effect, but then in phase 2, things got very loud and very chaotic. I was just swinging at the wither, and as it hit me, more and more Endermen spawned into help. It did not take long until the wither was beaten and I had gotten my nether star. And now is where it gets awkward. I had my nether star, but I still needed Eyes of Ender to get to the end to get the end stone for the key. I waited until night so I could kill Endermen for ender pearls. However, I completely forgot about my looting 3 ruby sword, so I used my non-looting Ender Knight sword the whole time. At the end of that night, I saw a zombie mage illager right next to a mutant creeper. Kind of a wild combo because I have not seen either of those mobs before. The zombie mage was beaten by my Enderman as I fought the mutant creeper. This thing was terrifying and actually did a decent amount of damage, but I was able to take it out pretty safely. It exploded into an egg to let me put it on my head, but whenever I tried to make it do something, it just sort of exploded into gunpowder, so probably wasted that, but whatever. By day 91, I had 4 ender pearls, not nearly enough for the portal. I decided to go ahead and start following the 4 that I had though, just so I'd be ready whenever I got enough. I followed the eyes, and along the way I did lose one, and then right as I find the portal, one of my eyes falls onto a cactus. Of all the ways to lose one, a cactus. Regardless, I found where the portal was, and now I just needed more ender pearls. And for that, I sort of just had to chill. I did basically nothing during the day, and I don't really like not doing anything for a period of time during a 100 days video, but I really couldn't think of anything else to do. That night I hunted Enderman and I got a whole 1 more ender pearl. This was gonna take a while. For the next few days, I just repeated the very simple process of hunting Enderman at night and then chilling in my very cool, very well-built house during the day. At one point when I realized that I only had 11 steak left, I got out my ruby sword, and me with my massive brain remember that I had looting. I killed 1 Enderman that night and immediately got up to 9 pearls. Day 95, I decided to head to the stronghold. If the portal already had an eye in it, I was good. I dug down and there was no stronghold. I went back up and I literally lost an eye trying to verify, and this was definitely the right spot. I dug like 2 blocks over, and when I dug down I saw stone bricks, meaning I found it. I didn't even know you could miss the stronghold if you were in the right chunk, but I guess you could. I navigated the stronghold, found an ender pearl in a chest, and then I found the portal room. I immediately made the rest of my eyes, activated the portal, and jumped in. I was in the end. Of course, there was no dragon, and I ended up getting attacked by endermen, meaning the ender beast's influence was very prevalent. There were endermen with red eyes and stuff. It was kinda wild. The center fountain even looked different. I made my end key as soon as possible. I could now defeat the ender beast whenever I wanted. I did want to check out the end a bit though to see how corrupted it's become. There were these end zombies and mutated endermen here. It seemed like it was bad. The worst part? There were Ender Knights, and they weren't me Ender Knights, they were evil Ender Beast Ender Knights, and they looked cooler than I did. I went through the end gateway, and the outer part of the end just looked poisoned. Everything was purple, and there were knights and zombies swarming me, trying to take me out before I could defeat the ender beast. I ran around the poisoned biome, and there were all sorts of weird frog creatures and flying jellyfish things, and the end was just a mess. I explored the end for the next few days, and let me tell you, it was wild. I found an end ship that was completely destroyed, sunk halfway into the ground. I dug around until I found a chest, and I found a map that led to an end city. I checked out that end city and looted it, but it seemed to be in an area that had not been corrupted or anything, so it was pretty normal, and therefore useless. At one point, after defeating one of the evil Ender Knights, it dropped its sword, the Artist's Sword, which gave wither to the mobs that I hit. This was obviously nothing compared to my Ender Knight's sword, but at least they tried. I explored for a while, but honestly, it seemed like I had seen everything, so I searched for a gateway to get out, and after finding one, I jumped into the center fountain and went back to the overworld. Upon arriving in the overworld, I saw that it was sunrise of day 99. This was going to be my final day to prepare before taking on the Ender Beast. The guy said that I needed milk, so I milked hash brown and got 6 buckets. That should be enough, I hope. I then went out to hunt some food because I only had 1 pork chop left. I got up to 21, and once again, hopefully that's good enough. Then I tried to enchant books again to get sharpness 5 on my sword, and yeah, no, that didn't happen. I readied my inventory, made 2 nature swords just in case, and I felt pretty good about my gear. I slept off the night, and now it was day 100. Day 100, the final day, and the day that I take down the Ender Beast. The end was all poisoned, and there were tons of evil mobs everywhere, and the Ender Beast was absolutely ruining the place. And that ends now. Okay, now it is day 100. It is time for the Ender Beast to die. I have my key, I have my potion effects. I'm gonna try to not use milk because I would rather not lose the resistance potion effect whenever I drink it, and also it just makes more sense not to. And also there might be a bit of an issue in the mod with using milk I learned about recently, so maybe milk's not the best idea. Anyways, it is now day 100. We're gonna be doing this now. I have the key here, I have my hopper all set up, I have an egg right here that I don't really need, and now I have to, anyways, we gotta say goodbye to Cookie and goodbye to Hash Brown for now, because there's a chance that I die here. I'm not going to, hopefully, but I might. You never know. But I guess without further ado, let's do it. Oh, it is dark. Oh, it's mega dark. Okay, drink the night vision. Drink the, I'm gonna teleport over here. Drink the resistance. And the Ender Beast should spawn now. Yeah, what's good, bro? Oh, he doesn't see me. He didn't, I was wrong. Okay. Hit him with a bow shot. Okay, you're immune to bow shots. Got it. Oh, okay, no, you see me. I was wondering if you just didn't see me. Oh, okay. Enderman, go ham. My boys! Oh, there's scales. Are these the scales? They're the scales. Yoink. Ender Beast scale. Okay, so I can eat that to get rid of the effect. To get rid of his curse, right? Bro, I can't get close enough. I can't get close enough, and the arrows just teleport him around. Oh, that was a really good hit. Okay, that's how we have to do it. We have to teleport in, hit him real fast, and then whenever he hits me away, we have to hope an Enderman spawns. He won't come close though, because he knows I'm gonna beat him. Got him. Okay, I hit him. Okay, you know, about him not coming close, I was probably wrong. I'm gonna eat a, you know what? Eat a god apple. Why not, right? Why not? Get the absorption going. Knock me away again. Okay, we're having fun. I have plenty of scales. Wait, what? He grabbed me. Okay, he gave me the curse. So I have to eat this And it still activates the okay. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. I want my night vision back. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, that's not what was supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. Okay, anyways. Okay, that was not how that was supposed to function. What just happened? Oh, I can still roar him away, but it's a projectile, so I can't hit him with it. No! Ender Summon was slain by Ender Beast. Okay, buddy. This fight is so tough, dude. I can't get close enough. We got him down about a quarter, though. Just keep teleporting in, going for a swim whenever I can, and hope I do not... Okay, Ender Curse is applied. I have to put another Totem of Undying right now. I need to eat another scale as well. Don't crash the game! Ah! I don't like that! I don't like that. It kills you. It's not supposed to do that, dude. That's not the point. The scale's supposed to do... Oh, God. Okay, I have it again. I'm kind of just not going to use the scale this time and let Totem of Undying go. Because if Totem of Undying just goes for it... Because if I don't use the scale, I won't lose night vision, right? Which is the one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to lose night vision. So if the Totem of Undying is just what carries me, then so be it. I have so many of them. Actually, I don't have enough to last me if this takes too long. He grabbed my Enderman! No! Wait, it still happened. It still happened. Okay, this is really bad. This is really bad. Okay, my Endermen are all shot? Endermen don't get shot. Okay. No, he grabbed me. Just hit him. Just hit him as much as I can, bro. As much as I can. No. Hit him. Just hit him. Just hit him. Just hit him. Just hit him. Okay. What? He's over there now. Okay. While he's over there, I'm going to scale. Don't kill me. Okay. I'm gonna God Apple. I'm going to night vision. Yeah, it definitely does not clear the effect like it's meant to. It's kind of weird. I don't like that. That was scary, but I'm alive. My game didn't crash, and one more. We're done. We did it. We defeated it. Look at all these scales we have. We can't even use these for anything. Let's go. Do I have a totem on right now? Oh shoot. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm gonna eat one last scale. Munchies. I'm gonna eat one last night vision potion. And now, we're good. Look at the boys. Look at the Enderman. Look how many scales we have. Bro, we have so many of his scales. And he's defeated. That is it. The end has been freed. That is 100 days as an Ender Knight. I appreciate everybody for watching. Comment on the video. Like the video. Subscribe. All that fun stuff. And I will see you all in the next video. Later.